Hello everybody. Hello everybody, and I am so happy to welcome you to this information session regarding the first ELISA call for joint interinstitutional activities in communities. My name is Rossella RASO, and I am the project manager of the ELISA project at the SCUOLA Superiore Sant'Anna in Pisa. Today we will present you the call. Basically, we will give you some information concerning the rationale, objective, and all the application procedure. It should last 20 minutes, and we will have a section for questions, open question from you. You can use the chat to post your questions whenever you want. Of course, you can ask your questions at the end of our presentations. And remind that this session will be recorded. So if you stay in this room, you accept that you will be recorded. So I will give the floor to Sofia Dagar, our executive director. So Sofia, the floor is yours.
Hello, good morning to everyone. It is really a pleasure. Thank you, Rossella, for giving me the floor. It is really exciting for me to be here today with all the colleagues from the Alliance to give you this session for information. It's really exciting to see the Alliance growing, and today we are in a way also celebrating that by this announcement of the joint call. So this is really important because it's really a step forward into our collaboration, because it's the first time that all the members join resources so that we can call actively for action within this call. We have been growing a lot this last 18 months, and in different procedures internally, some of the members have been launched internal calls for the building up of communities. This has reached us and bring us to the moment in which we already have 34 mission-driven communities that already are providing activities for the students. And this week we are in a way celebrating to the fact that we have enrolled more than 2,000 students in these activities, and that in the next days we'll be delivering the first of the credentials to more than 1,300 students. This ELISA credential recognition is a really unique thing that we are delivering with ELISA that connects communities' activities to the experience engagement of the student and opening up to new opportunities for the students, not just to learn, but to transform knowledge into action connected to SDGs. So this joint effort of communities, the recognition of the impact that the students are engaging in the communities is really important. So I'm really happy to also acknowledge the effort of the ones that have contributed actively to this, and to invite others, if it's not the case still, to join the efforts and through this joint community call, actively propose, design, and develop new activities. This is really, I think, a good opportunity to each one of you to connect, to grow, and to use this opportunity. So my request would be use the opportunity, talk of this opportunity with your colleagues. I'm sorry, I have my son here around. And I will also recognize the efforts of the two teams that work tightly to put this effort into action, which is Work Package 1, General Coordination and Management, and Work Package 4, Communities. They're leaders and representatives. This is really a joint effort. So please enjoy this session and use this opportunity. Last word to finish really quickly. Don't forget that we also have the newly community platform, a big opportunity to use digital tools to connect, to see the mission-driven missions of each community, and to reach out to colleagues. Thank you, all of you. Enjoy this session, and I hope to see many, many, many applications for this call. Thank you so much. And I'll give the floor to Ignacio Gonzalez from UPM.
Thank you, Sophia, and hi, everyone. Yes, well, we the people working directly on ELISA have not a few times the feeling that we are like creating a small European Union. We don't have member states, we have member universities, so it is not exactly the same. It's a little more complex in our case, but yet possible. And we can find many similarities between both processes. For example, they have an European Council and we have a governing board. They have an European Commission and we have an ELISA office. They have a common currency, the euro, and we have a common currency, the ECTS. They have the Schengen area and we have the European Higher Education Area. They have a motto, United in Diversity. And I think that maybe we should pay royalties for this because our motto is exactly the same as United in Diversity. And they have an anthem, Beethoven's Ninth Symphony. And we have an anthem, Beethoven's for Elise. No, this is not official, but I hope it will. But at some point, we were discussing on the similarities between both processes, and someone said, what's up? Well, they have the Erasmus, they have the Horizon, they have the digital, they have the EIT, they have the Euratom, they have the Live, and continued for 20 minutes explaining all the programs that the European Union has. And we have nothing. So we say, okay, let's fix it. And this is the unofficial origin of this joint call. But of course, I'm joking. It is not the envy what moved us to do this. But I'm not joking when I say that it's the same spirit, because we are nine universities from 7 countries, and we have the same mission, but we have different vision, tradition, ambition, a size, a scope. And despite all these differences, we think, as in the European Union, we think that if we collaborate on a permanent basis, this will make us stronger to achieve our threefold mission for society, that is the generation of knowledge, transmission of knowledge, and use of knowledge for the benefit of all. So please consider this first ELISA joint call as a small, as a nano version of the program you want, the Erasmus, the Horizon, whatever, because in the end, the main goal of this initiative is to boost a permanent collaboration between the people from the several institutions. And now I will give the floor back to Rossella RASO from SCUOLA Santana in Pisa. Thank you.
Thank you, Nacho. So next step is the presentation of the objectives of this joint call. Basically, we were asked from the European Commission with this Erasmus Plus program to put students at the center for the whole project. And in particular, we are doing this for this joint call. So we have basically 3 main objectives, which are the increasing of all kinds of mobilities, to issue credentials, and to strengthen the ELISA communities. So we strongly believe that this instrument, this joint call, which is the first one, but other will follow, it's the most powerful instrument that we have at the moment, after all the background work for the establishment of the ELISA communities, the IT platforms that will help us to manage the communities and to get in contact each one to the others. So we believe that is the most powerful instrument that we have to increase the mobility. So when preparing a proposal for this joint call, keep this in mind. We need to boost mobilities of students, staff, and teachers. And basically, we will tell you later, but the budget that we have available for this action should be dedicated in its great part to support the students' mobilities or mobilities in general. So that's all for the objectives. I will give the floor to Laura Molinari from EMPC. She will present the credentials that are a core element of this call. So, Laura, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. So can you hear me? It's okay? Awesome. Okay. So yeah, as Rossella said, I'm going to talk about the ELISA credentials. So what is a credential for ELISA? The ELISA credential consists of badges. So badges are required by students during their participation in learning experiences organized within the ELISA communities. So when you plan an activity and the student participates in this activity, he's going to learn badges and the accumulation of the badges from the credential. So credential is composed of 1 to 85 pages because we have 70 SDGs and we are targeting 5 levels. So to issue a badge, the activity designer targets the SDGs that the activity addresses, and within these SDGs, the activity designer proposes a level, so from 1 to 5, and according to the learning outcomes that students can achieve at the end of the activity. So we have 5 levels. The level 1 will be a discovery, which we consider that like a simple participation in a conference or something like that. Level 2 is knowledge, level 3 is commitment, and the level 4 is action, and 5 transformation. So we hope that in the near future, I hope near, the badges will be delivered via the secure online platform, and the quality assurance system will validate the relevance of the learning outcomes achieved and the assessment methods used. I think that's it for the credentials, but if it was not clear for you and your question, don't hesitate to ask in the chat. And I will give the floor now to Camille for the eligibility and evaluation.
Sorry, yes, sorry for the noise. We are at the forum, so it's difficult to intervene, but we are very happy to be with you today. If it's too noisy, just tell me and I can try to repeat. So something extremely important for you to know is the eligibility and the evaluation process of this joint call. Something extremely important to start with is that you have to present a project made by at least two different countries and 2 institutions, partners from ELISA. Why? Because when you go, some partners develop some polls, and it helps to develop new communities, but the difficulty is to try to develop the cooperation between the partners. So this joint call is really an opportunity to strengthen our collaboration with the partners within ELISA. This is why we have this condition of 2 countries coming from 2 institutions coming from 2 different countries. Many activities are eligible for this call. I can give you few examples. You can propose summer, winter school, seasonal schools, let's say. Student contests are eligible, cross-institutional internship, bachelor, master thesis, doctoral colloquia, research retreats, you know, many different opportunities, conferences, seminars, etc. are eligible. So do not hesitate to offer this kind of opportunities through your application. And the target group is university educators, researchers, students, staff from all ELISA institutions. So this is very important. So apart from these activities, the funding offered is up to 8,000. Sorry, it's difficult to follow, but 8,000 euros for personal and other costs. This is for the organization of the activity, and you also can have fundings for mobilities of participants, students, researchers, etc., etc. The eligibility period for your activities from October the 1st until the end of April. This is very important for to know for your application. So the call will end, the deadline is July the 24th. We will have a period with the commission, with different partners, all the partners represented in this commission to select the best activities. And you will have the final answer at the beginning of September. We have another slide. Yes. So, something you have to have in mind that we would like to see the impact of the activity within your communities, how we can measure that, how many students will participate in your community, in your activity, for example, how many teachers, etc., etc. Another very important criteria is how do you experiment this ELISA credential, how the participants will get this credential through your activities. We are also looking at the diversity of the stakeholders involved in your activity. We talked about 2 different institutions at least, but you also can involve other kind of stakeholders, external ones, companies, public institutions, etc., etc. And obviously we'll look at how your project is clear, what is the resource efficiency of your project, and we also, something very important is sustainability of your activity. Is it something you can replicate next year? Is it what's the long-term effect of this collaboration within your community through this activity? Thank you, and I will give the floor to Ignacio, maybe.
Yes, thank you, Carmen. Back to me. Okay, thank you very much. Regarding the application process and the funding roles, as Camille explained, we will receive all the application, all the proposals, and a shared committee, a shared panel will decide which activities are more interesting for the Alliance, and they will give a ranking. And then in each institutions will start to fund the activities starting from the top ranked activities. So for example, imagine in my case, UPM, we will start with the funding of the top ranked activities in which UPM organizers participate, because of course the funding is subjective to some eligible rules. But from your side, you don't have to be concerned about this, because you just have to propose an activity to give the budget for the organization with a limit of for personnel and other costs of 8,000 euros. And if your activity is selected, you will have the guarantee that you will receive a budget for the organization of the activity. And then the number of students that you expect to receive from other partners will be also funded. You don't know if they will come from Istanbul, from Bucharest, from Paris, Pisa, or Nuremberg, or whatever. To apply, you have to go to the website of the ELISA communities, and there you can find a form. You have to fulfill this form and send it by email to the email addresses that are explained there. Very important, if you have a very good idea or you want to participate in this call, but you have not joined a community yet, it's not a problem. You can do it immediately. And the process is very easy, it's for free, and it's very interesting. So Daniel, please go ahead to the next slide. You just need to go to the community platform, it's community.elisa.eu. Click on the where it says sign in. Question is, are you affiliated to an ELISA partner? In this case, it's yes, because otherwise, unfortunately, you won't be eligible for this joint call. So as you are a member of an ELISA partner, you can use, and we recommend you to use your institutional login credentials. If you prefer to sign up with your email and put a password, it's okay, but we recommend you to use your institutional login credentials. And then once you have joined, you can click where it says Discover Communities. Next slide, please, Daniel. And you will see all the communities that has been recognized by the Alliance so far. So now you have to choose the community you want, for example, Circular ELISA community. Then you join the community by clicking on the button when it says join the community, and then you have joined the community. So by doing this, you can apply to this join call. Please don't do this just to get the funding for the call, because one of the evaluation criterion is the sustainability. So the idea is that this is the excuse to join the community, but we hope you to participate and to belong to the community and to participate in other activities. So this is all from our side, and now is the turn. Now we'll give room for questions. Next slide, please, Daniel. I thank you, the people that are attending the University Forum, and apologize for the noises. Now is your turn, so you can use the chat or just raise your hand and take the floor and ask your questions. And as it has been said, this session is recorded, so you can watch it again. And you can also ask any questions by email, but we will try to gather all the questions raised today in a document, and this document will be put in the same website for the ELISA joint call. Thank you for your attention, and let's start with the questions. So, in the chat, yes, I think there is okay, one question. Okay. Yes, Enrico, please go ahead. I think you put your question in the chat.
Can I ask?
Sure.
Can I ask by? So my question is like, if I have intention to present a proposal for the ELISA joint call. If, for example, you organize like, you are selected and you organize like any activity, summer school, winter school, just, if, for example, rent a room, like every university has the possibility to rent a room. I'm from Scuola Normale, but some cost it can be covered in advance, or how is like this part of reimbursement? You have just to like after register all your costs, and or if it's reimbursed after that.
Okay. Yes, there is a hidden part in this call. In the end, if you are selected, you will be funded, but then we will decide which is the source of the funding for your activity. So in your case, maybe it's a Scuola, you say Santana?
Scuola Normale.
Scuola Normale, I'm sorry. So Scuola Normale, probably they are using the funding of maybe the Erasmus Plus. So as it is an Erasmus Plus, it's the same rules for funding. So they will have the money, and presumably they will be able to fund in advance, or this is something that you will have to ask later. Yeah, or if you are co-organizing the activity with someone from another institution, the same thing. Their institutions will decide how to pay, exactly to pay, but I will say that most of the partners are using the Erasmus Plus funding, so we already have the money and we can pay it immediately as you need.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Next question, Alvaro, please.
Yeah, hello everyone. So I already posted on the chats also. Okay, I was related to one of the slides, and you were just saying that if you are not in a community, you could join one. But from UPM, we have been told several times that nobody can join an already created community. This happened when we had some professors that, okay, we skipped the call when we made the community, and somebody came and said, hey, I would like to join the community. And we asked our UPM, and you said, no, you cannot join. I mean, everything is linked because it's an ELISA community plus research, innovation staff at UPM. So how should handle this?
Yes, the internal calls that we did at UPM was to boost the creation of communities that meet the requirements decided by the Alliance, but added some additional rules. But this only applies for the call, for the internal call. So we have also emphasized several times that the belonging to a community is not exactly the same that participating in the internal call. If you participate in the internal call, this is good, for example, to use the resources that we are giving, or if you need a certificate that you're participating in an activity of innovación educativa and these kind of things. But the belonging to the community is something that is done by just by joining the platform, and everybody can do that. And also, you know, that these you were prototypes, and we are working, we are experimenting with you, as the European Commission is experimenting with us, the creation of the European universities. But the thing is that in the future, communities are expected to decide their internal governance, and maybe you can decide the rules for how someone can join the community or these kind of things. But at this point, the minimum common agreement on the alliance level is that a community needs 2 faculty from several institutions, and everybody can join just through the platform.
Great. Okay. Thank you, Nathan.
You're welcome. Next question. I follow the order in the chat. Rossella and other colleagues, if are still there, you can also answer the question if you want. The question from Peter Almac.
Yeah, I can repeat it.
Yeah.
If you want. So basically, if we propose a summer school, it should be around like June, July, or August, but the execution deadline is 30th of April next year. So that's what I wanted to ask. If we propose a summer school during next summer, what will happen? Would that reduce our eligibility for the funding?
Very good question. I don't know the answer actually. I have to recognize, because I didn't participate in this part of imposing the deadline for the duration of the activities. Rossella, are you aware of if we can't?
Actually not, but I would say that, of course, if the deadline is July 24, and then the execution of the activities will take place before next summer, I see that summer schools seems to be not eligible, but yeah. I guess that this can be managed. We will also check with work package for leaders, but I feel that we will find a solution if the activity is eligible to give the funding.
Yeah.
So would you email us about this? Because, you know, if it's not eligible, then we would do a kind of a seasonal school where it's not summer, it will be spring.
Yeah.
But obviously summer schools are much better because the schools are closed. So we could all invite students from all around the Europe. That would be easier.
We will gather all the questions that has been raised today and prepare a document, and the document will be put on the website for the joint call. So you will be able to check there the answer to this question, if we allow it or not, because this is a bug of the system. We impose a deadline for the realization of the activity that, of course, is making ineligible summer schools. And in any case, our intention is, is to have other joint calls in the future. And the thing is that we have to recognize that we don't know how many applications we will receive. If this is a successful initiative and we have a lot of applications, we will spend all the budget, and we will be very happy. And if not, maybe we try with the second version, or in any case, we will try with a second joint call. And with the lesson learned from this first question, from this first call. Thank you for your question, and we will try to answer it
Thank
as
you.
soon as possible. Next question in the chat. Justo, yes, we can share the presentation, no problem. Andres Monzón. Okay.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. So my question is, because there's the proposal should aim to have, I mean, activities that are replicated in several universities, or only activities that are attracting people from different universities, but in one place. So I don't know which is the main idea behind this call. So if you want to settle a kind of activity that could be replicated everywhere, or not, or only in one place, a big one.
But the thing is that the organizers came from several different institutions. So if you have a partner that is co-organizing the activity and is replicating it there, I think it is eligible. And we will recommend you to include some kind of interaction between the participants at the several, because virtual is also a way of mobility. So it's an ideal activity, something that is happening in two universities, for example, and then they connect at some point. Yes, this is in fact, this is virtual mobility, and this it's perfectly eligible, and it's a good idea. Okay,
so the idea is, instead of presenting several applications for the same topic, just presenting all together in one coordinated proposal, no?
Yes, but show that the organizers belong to different institutions, and that you have came up with the activity together.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question is Albert Jurtas. Sorry if I did not pronounce well your last name.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, the thing is that at this point we don't. The objective of the call is not to create new communities, but to strengthen the existing communities. But I mean, if you find people from other institutions that meet the requirements to create a community, I encourage you to do it. There is the procedure to create a community is to prepare a form and to send it to your work package for representatives, saying that you want to create this community, and then you will be shown in the community platform, and that's perfectly fine.
Thank you, Ignacio. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for your question.
May I add a piece of information to this answer? Because I know that, yes, I know that there are other partners interested in funding a new community. And I asked Eike yesterday, and the question, the answer was, of course, yes, it is possible, still possible to establish a new community. But of course, remind that, as Ignacio said, we are not doing this to boost the creation of new communities without sustainability, instead to reinforce already existing communities. But of course, if you really want to found a new community, please do it. And of course, remind that to establish a community implies a commitment, which is the minimum number of activities that you commit to do during the year, because of course you cannot do it just one activity. You should prove to be sustainable and organize more activities, other activities beyond the support that you could receive by this call. This was just my only recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. We continue with the chat. Jesus Salgado is asking if the mobility of lectures is included in the 8,000 euro or in the mobility budget. I think, in the mobility budget, but there is no limit for this in principle. So you can say that you need to move the organizers and that you expect to receive, imagine 20 students of these kind of things. And of course, this will be taken into account when deciding the funding. Please be aware that with the cost of organization of the activity, we will give you the money if your activity is selected, the money you ask for. But if regarding the number of students or participants, the number is orientative. Maybe you expect 20 students, and finally we say that we can just fund 18 or 22. It's something orientative, but of course we will fund the mobility of the teachers or researchers if they are moving. I think if I have not answered the question, please ask again.
Yeah, I think I understood. So if professors or lecturers need to travel and get accommodation during the activity, this will not go against the 8,000
exactly
euros, but it will be funded apart.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Osgul Kiles is asking if regarding a thesis that it lasts 3 years. Okay, we want to have a call that is open for any kind of activity, but of course, this is not the best call to fund a thesis, and especially because a thesis, maybe you can issue budgets for the student or the candidate, the PhD candidate that is doing his or her thesis, but probably other activities are doing something more massive that are delivering more badges, credentials. So you can try, but it's not the main goal of this call to fund a long individual activity. No. Álvaro Sierra, any tool for enhancing visibility of the different communities? Oh, I forgot to say it when I was presenting the application procedures and how to log in into the platform and through the community platform, that there was a knowledge bite during the last week explaining the use of the community platform. So please, Daniel, if you haven't yet, share the link in the chat to the recording, just in case you did not attend the meeting. The thing is that at this point, we want to boost the use of this community platform, and you can interact with other people. Once you join a community, there is some room to interact and the visibility, and we want to have this space, irrespective of whether you decide to have another space like a blog or something like that. But maybe, Rossella, you that participate in Work Package 4 can comment on this, or if you are happy with my
too,
Sophia.
I think at this moment, it's a really important point of communication. EELISA is growing. We need to penetrate. We need that our messages offers opportunities penetrate the students and to academics and staff target groups. So we have a communication office that is also growing centrally at the EELISA office to support, and also each institution has its own communication representative. So at the moment, the strategy is not to multiply different channels independently from EELISA. It's to, through the EELISA website, create channels of visibility so that the students can be also oriented in a way to looking for new opportunities. So our recommendation would be strengthening your participation in the community platform, which is designed and made to be really up-to-date digital place to collaboration and to put the offers. Social media could be also a way, and linked to our efforts of communication with our social media manager, we can also help to boost and to amplify the messages. But separate web page could be tricky at this point for your community and for EELISA, because will be separating the target groups, and it's not the goal. So if you need advice, we can also work together with the communication officer and the communication representatives to see which kind of strategies to help your own community to grow.
Okay, thank you.
We are
very
available,
much.
and Yolanda is also connected, and she's the communication officer for EELISA.
Thank you very much, Sofia.
Thank you.
Okay, we go ahead. Justo ask again if there is a limit for mobility. There is no limit, but in that case, please take into account that we appreciate efficiency in the use of resources. So if you want to move 1,000 students, the total budget is limited. It has to be very well justified because you may be competed with other activities. But in principle, there is no limit, and you can choose 5 people 2 weeks, 20 people 3 days, and this kind of things. And also, please think on sustainability. So if you know the blended intensive program, for example, the idea is that you have some virtual mobilities first, and then you move people from some time to take advantages of the fact of the face-to-face meeting. So it's up to you, the way you approach the mobility. Community.
Nacho, sorry, is David Menoyo with his raised hands? It has been for a while. Maybe we can let him
David?
post the question. Yes.
David, sorry. I'm really sorry. Too many questions in the chat.
Thank you very much, and good morning. I'm having a look at the proposal template, and I would like to know what do you expect us to in the description in the budget for activity organizers. I can see that you the first item is personal, and then you ask for a description and the costs of the description. So what do you expect us to include in the description? It's about the hours that we are going to invest in the activity and the costs of our invested.
Yeah, for example, if it's an internship for an student, you can say that that I will have an student participating in the organization of the activity for 2 months or this kind of things. If it's personnel, for example, in the case of UPN, it's not eligible. We cannot give salary wage to this to the faculty and the researchers participating, but it's just to describe. For example, if you say a travel, just to say 5 people 3 days, or 20 people, because the organizer is a teacher that is coming from another institution. He or she has to travel to Madrid, so I will describe this 1 person 3 nights or something like that, and I estimate the cost in this way. Another cost, if you want, I don't know, something that is eligible, but we need to rent a booth or to give some merchandising or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, just to let us know.
Okay, but then the hours that we invest, they are not eligible as a cost.
In UPM, they are not eligible. I don't know if other institutions allow the personnel to get paid for this.
And how can I know about that? Because I have 2 partners, one from Santana and one from E2 from Turkey, and I would like to know if they can have this.
They can ask. They can ask their work package 1 or work package 4 representative to know where the funding sources are coming from, and which what can be eligible or not.
Okay.
So ask your institution. In your case, UPM, I can tell you that the cost of the faculty is not eligible.
Okay.
Thank you. Well. Maybe Carolina Hernandez, the community summits or community, or focusing on a specific topic are eligible. Yes, they are. anything is eligible, but remember that you have to engage students to give badges, and that it has to be SDG oriented. So if it is thematic, but you find a way to do this oriented towards the objectives of the credentials and these things, it's perfectly eligible. Please be aware that the levels, the impact levels of the credentials are discovery, knowledge, commitment, action, and transformation. So it is the discovery level is very easily associated to any kind of workshop, conference, something that makes students be aware of the challenges. And the next level, knowledge, is something that can be addressed with any kind of course. Other things are allowed, but just to make you understand that that conferences and summits, meetings can be eligible, but we ask you to engage students and to deliver credentials.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Álvaro Gutierrez, you ask about the eligibility criteria of the expenses. As I said, you have to ask your institution. In your case, UPM, this is an Erasmus Plus project, the main source of the funding, but we will also fund this with the money coming from the ministry. But the eligible rules are almost the same. So you have the usual categories. And as I said, for example, UPM cannot pay personnel with this call. But if you have any specific question, feel free to ask me. Not here, because this is something internal of UPN, but anyone can ask his or her institutions about the eligibility of a specific course.
So sorry, Ignacio, no any kind of personal cost at UPM?
No, you can hire someone. You can give a scholarship, an internship, but you cannot get paid yourself, or someone from the staff of UPN cannot get paid for this.
Okay, so both the scholarships and contracts are eligible from 8,000. Okay, yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Peter Almac, no, sorry. Javier Garcia Martin, you asked what kind of personnel. I don't know if it was my last answer.
It's yes, of course. I have the answer. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. What do you intend exactly for credentials? But it's what Laura explained. It's like you know that the recognition system in ELISA has like it comprises three tools or three outcomes. One is the joint degree, work in progress. The second is the supplement, is something to boost and recognize mobility and interculturality. And the credential is something that recognizes the impact of the students during their academic career. So this, if they participate in academic and non-academic activities offered by communities that that address any societal challenges framing in the SDGs framework, then it is potentially eligible to issue a badge and a credential for the students participating. So the two things that you need is to engage students and to do something that is SDG oriented. And then we will explain you more details about how to issue the credentials and the badges. Is there any question? Any additional question on me? So, if this is not the case, I thank you again. I thank the speakers and, of course, you for participating here. I encourage you to apply, to be pioneers in this first ELISA joint call, to ask any questions you have, and to ask us also if you need some help for the matchmaking with other colleagues. from other institutions. We will try, but you know that it doesn't work very well always, but we will try. And we hope to receive your proposals, and thank you very much for your interest. Have a nice day. Rossella, Sofia, do you want to add something?
No, just to acknowledge the effort for organizing this and for you to come so many. So we'll be summarizing all the questions, putting the link, the PowerPoint, all the guidelines and documents in the follow-up email so that you can have concentrated all the wrap-up information to help you in the process. And of course, we are available if you have any further questions by written form until the deadline, of course. Thank you so much, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you too.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you very much for organizing this.